Your roadmap to the latest in auto? Welcome to Highway Herald. Buckle up, gearheads. Today we're diving into a high-stakes clash between the United States and the European Union, sparked by a proposed 25% tariff on EU imports. This brewing conflict could send shockwaves through the automotive industry, driving up car prices, disrupting supply chains, and forcing automakers to rethink their strategies. We're breaking down the 5 pivotal chapters you need to watch, so stick around as we unravel the global implications for the automotive world. Number 5. Europe's Counterpunch, the fight over tariffs. When the United States, under President Donald Trump's directive, imposed a 25% tariff on all European Union imports, Brussels responded swiftly. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen warned that any aggressive action toward European goods would face a firm and immediate reaction. This isn't just political, it's about survival for Europe's automotive giants. Volkswagen, BMW, and Stellantis depend heavily on the US market to drive sales, keep factories running, and sustain thousands of jobs. Losing competitive access to the American market would be a major financial hit. The EU retaliated by reviving tariffs on iconic American products like motorcycles, whiskey, and denim, items with both cultural and economic significance. Italy has even proposed taxing US tech giants, signaling that the EU is prepared to expand the fight beyond the automotive sector. The EU also holds a powerful legal tool, the anti-coercion instrument, allowing Brussels to impose trade barriers, restrict services, and tighten investment rules in response to coercive actions. Diplomatic efforts haven't collapsed entirely. French President Emmanuel Macron's visit to Washington sought compromise, but real progress remains elusive. For now, Europe's message is clear. It's prepared to defend its automotive sector at all costs. But Europe's counterattack is just the beginning. Let's see how this turmoil ripples through the supply chain next. Number 4. Supply chain chaos, the global fallout. The automotive industry relies on a complex global supply chain, with components crossing continents before reaching assembly lines. A 25% US tariff on EU imports threatens to unravel this network, causing chaos for European and American manufacturers alike. Key components like engines, braking systems, and driver assistance technology are sourced from European suppliers before being assembled into American-made vehicles. If tariffs raise costs or restrict supply, US production lines could grind to a halt, forcing automakers to scramble for alternatives. European suppliers like Valeo, France, and Bosch, Germany, have already warned of potential cutbacks. Rising costs from the shift toward electric vehicles are already squeezing margins, and tariffs could push them to scale back US shipments altogether. Nearly 60% of EU-based parts manufacturers are considering reducing exports if no resolution is reached within a year. For US automakers, supply disruptions could lead to temporary shutdowns and layoffs. Higher production costs could push car prices even higher, at a time when inflation and rising interest rates are already straining consumer budgets. Some manufacturers are exploring workarounds, such as shifting production to non-EU countries, but these bring logistical challenges and higher costs. The global automotive supply chain stands at a crossroads, with long-term consequences looming. Supply chain troubles are just one part of the equation. Let's zoom out and see how this conflict is shaking up the broader economy. Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Now let's explore number 3, economic shockwaves, beyond the factory floor. Tariffs on the automotive sector are threatening the broader economy, as the industry plays a key role in both the US and European economies. Rising tariffs could trigger significant financial fallout on both sides of the Atlantic. In Europe, trade tensions could cut GDP growth by as much as 0.4%, translating to billions of dollars in lost revenue across the $18 trillion Eurozone economy. In the US, analysts warn of a potential 0.17% dip in GDP due to higher production costs, reduced consumer spending, and weakened manufacturing output. While the percentages seem small, the overall financial impact would be massive. Consumers will feel the effects directly. Higher tariffs mean higher prices for new cars, repairs, and maintenance. Components like brake pads, infotainment systems, and EV batteries could become more expensive, making even routine maintenance costly. Financial markets are also reacting. Germany's DAX and US indices like the Dow and S&P 500 have shown volatility, with automotive stocks under pressure. Profit warnings and reduced earnings could lead to lower stock prices and cutbacks on future investment. Long-term innovation could also stall as automakers tighten budgets, delaying advancements in EV infrastructure and autonomous driving. If tariffs persist, the automotive sector could face years of instability and weakened competitiveness. But the economic strain isn't the only battle brewing. Next, we explore the high-stakes legal and diplomatic conflict. Number 2, legal and diplomatic face-off, trade rules and power plays. Tensions between the US and the European Union are escalating, shifting the conflict from factory floors to courtrooms and diplomatic negotiations. The EU argues that Washington's 25% tariff on European imports may violate World Trade Organization rules, setting the stage for a major legal showdown with global trade implications. The WTO's resolution process is slow, but a ruling in favor of the EU could pressure Washington to reduce or remove tariffs. Conversely, a US victory would strengthen America's position and justify more aggressive trade measures. Diplomatically, the stakes are high. Long-standing transatlantic alliances on security and environmental issues are under strain. If tensions worsen, the EU might seek stronger economic ties with China and Japan, weakening US influence in global trade. EU nations are split. France supports a firm response, while Germany, reliant on US auto sales, prefers caution to avoid harming its automotive sector. Italy has proposed taxing US tech giants like Apple and Google, adding complexity. In Washington, opinions are mixed. Some lawmakers support tariffs to protect American jobs, while others warn they could lead to job losses and higher prices. The US auto industry seeks stability, warning that uncertainty could stall investment in electric and autonomous vehicles. With the diplomatic battlefield heating up, the big question is, what happens next? Number 1, negotiation or all-out trade war. Tensions between the US and the EU are creating uncertainty for the automotive industry. On one hand, there's hope for a negotiated solution. Both sides have proposed sector-specific agreements, such as reducing tariffs on certain vehicles or harmonizing regulations to level the playing field. On the other hand, the situation could escalate into a full-blown trade war. The EU has signaled its readiness to expand retaliatory measures using tools like the anti-coercion instrument. If the US responds with more aggressive tariffs, it could severely disrupt the automotive supply chain. Manufacturers may face difficulties sourcing key components from Europe, leading to production slowdowns, layoffs, and increased costs. Higher prices could push up the cost of both imported and domestic vehicles, straining consumer budgets. A prolonged conflict could prompt other nations, like China, Japan, and South Korea, to impose their own tariffs, complicating global trade. Automakers might also scale back research and development on electric vehicles and autonomous systems, slowing progress. History shows that trade conflicts are often resolved under intense economic pressure. A successful agreement could stabilize the industry, but failure could trigger long-term uncertainty. Final verdict: where do we go from here? With tariffs looming, the global auto industry faces a critical moment. Will American and European leaders strike a deal that protects jobs and drives innovation? Or are we headed for a costly trade war that disrupts supply chains and raises prices? What's your take? Will diplomacy win out? Or are we about to witness one of the biggest trade conflicts in automotive history? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update from Highway Herald. Thanks for watching and see you next time.